Last time on Star Wars, the Toydarians attack the Sand People. The Jedi Council sends their best to intercept missiles from the Sand People, but also, cold cases.
I understood some of that. I know what the Sand People are.
That's a euphemism for Iranians, and Toydarians are Jews, because Watto. Because
I know.
Because George Lucas is a no-chin having racist hack.
Hold on, what? Oh, you mean Jerome Paul?
No, but I guess that kind of works. No, Trump has a chin. Anyways, the show, it's the Taboo Tater Tots Club podcast,
where we talk about anything that interests us, whether it be politics, chins, or cold cases.
Yay!
How are you doing today, Nick?
Tired.
That sucks.
Very tired. I only had about 2 million milligrams of caffeine instead of my usual 15.
That's more.
2 million is less than 15 million.
Oh, I thought you meant just 15.
No.
Okay.
Why would I mean that?
Because you said just 15.
I'm doing okay.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah, me too.
We live in a very scary time, folks. If you've been living under a rock under the sea, buried by 1,000 pounds of sand, we might be going to war.
And it's all because of the Jews! Not just any old Jews. The Jew.
Hitler?
No, he was German. Fucking idiot.
No, he was secretly a Jew and he was ashamed of himself.
That is the theory.
Seriously, that's like an actual theory?
People, well, yeah, because he was all like, hell yeah, Aryans. And they're like, dude, you are not an Aryan. He's like, yes, I am, shut up.
Also, didn't he, like, only let blonde-haired people live?
No.
But he was black-haired?
No.
Pretty sure that was a thing.
No, he thought that the blonde-haired, blue-eyed people were the true Aryans,
yes.
And he only cherished those people's lives, but he let other people live too. By that standard, if he only let those kinds of people live, there would have been so many more than just 6 million people dead. Okay, actually there were 60 million people in total over the course of the war, but you know what I mean.
Anyways, yes.
Did you know that so many people died during World War II that the carbon emissions, like the carbon levels in that era, like after the war, went down like almost 50%?
Well, yeah, because how many people could afford cars?
Also, 60 million people fucking died.
But how many of those could afford cars?
I don't know. Probably not a whole lot.
Exactly. So the carbon emission went from 5 to 3.
Sure. How have you been, Morgan?
Like I said, I'm scared.
Yeah.
This, for the love of God, I just want it to stop.
I mean, hey, look on the bright side. The Iranians did say tonight a surprise will happen that will shock the world for centuries, and nothing happened. That was last night.
Yeah, that is true.
I wonder if they actually, like, did attempt to kill either Trump or Netanyahu, and it just didn't happen. Or, because according to the Prime Minister of Israel, who's Benjamin Netanyahu, according to him, his life has been attempted on 3 different times, and Trump's life has been attempted on twice in the past 4 or 5 days. So,
only in the past 4 or 5 days?
According to him, it's probably a bit more than that.
You know, I'm not gonna say that it was a good thing, but I kind of wish the Trump shooter didn't miss.
I mean, a lot of people wish that. But according to 911 News on Twitter, which they've been pretty reliable in my experience, Trump, or maybe not Trump, but the Department of Defense has like an outline, like a blueprint of ways that we're going to strike Iran and actually engage in war against Iran. But they're going to put it, but they're going to put it on hold until they figure out if Iran is actually going to come back to the negotiating table about their non-nuclear demilitarization talks, whatever that's actually called.
Negotiations,
yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Nuclear negotiation.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's just a scare tactic. I doubt it.
I really do think so, because if you think about it, why are so many different military organizations and Trump himself talking so much about game plans and what they want to do? Shouldn't they keep that stuff secret so they can have the element of surprise, so that the world doesn't like put a magnifying glass on us? I really honestly think that Trump's like doing all of this stuff to be like, hey, Iran, I hope you're scared enough to come back. Please come back. Don't make me fight you. I don't want to fight you. Don't make me be a wartime president. Fuck that.
I really don't want to go to war.
And I think he doesn't want to go to war because war is bad. I don't think that's why he doesn't want to go to war. I think he doesn't want to go to war because he talks so much shit about Obama and Biden and Harris about them being in wars, and how he doesn't start wars, and how he's such a good negotiator, and that's going to look really bad on him. I think that's why he doesn't want to go to war.
I hope for your sake, or our sake, you're right. I almost said that wrong.
What do you mean?
I hope for your sake, or our sake, I can't fucking talk.
Yeah.
I hope for our sake that he truly just wants to negotiate and not press the button.
Well, yeah. I honest to God think that he doesn't want to go to war. Just the reason why he doesn't want to go to war isn't altruistic.
You know what? As long as we have the same end goal, I really couldn't care less.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he doesn't want to go to war, I really don't care why he doesn't want to go to war.
As long as he doesn't want to go to war.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
This is one of those things where it's like, I don't care why you're doing it, just fucking do it.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't about... If nuclear powers weren't involved, I'd be like, fuck you, you just don't want to go to war because of your image. But since there are nukes involved, I'm like, I don't care why you don't want to go to war, just don't. Please. And it's really funny because I've seen at least 20 different people on TikTok that are like, look, if the draft happens, and we have to go to war for Israel, let's all make a blood pact to where as soon, the very second that we get our service rifles or any sort of weapon with live ammunition in it, we will kill our superior officers. All of us, all at the same time. Why rot in a prison for 40 years? Just kill your SO. Which I don't have to worry about because I have a bad heart.
And I don't have to worry about because they rejected me.
But like...
When I turned 18, I tried to join the Marines. Did you know that?
I didn't, no.
I thought I mentioned it once or twice.
Maybe. I don't remember though.
Quote, I am too mentally... I think the word they used was unfit. It might have been unstable. Point is, I'm too broken. They want the non-broken people so that they can break them.
You probably went to them. It's like, I want a Ferrari and a gun, and they're like, no.
Okay, just the gun.
Definitely no.
But no, like the Marine recruiter. the Marine cooties.
The Marine cooties.
He was like, okay, do you have any mental diagnoses? And I was like, oh boy.
Oh boy, do I. Did I ever tell you about the interaction that I had with a recruiter?
I'm not finished.
Okay.
And so he is sitting there, and I'm just listening everything off. He stops writing like halfway through, and when I'm finished, he looks at me and goes, "We can't have you. We can't take you." And I'm like, "Oh,
Damn. All
okay."
right.
Anyways,
Did I ever tell you about my interaction with a recruiter?
I don't know.
So even if I have, it's still a funny story, I think. One day, me and my two buddies were hanging out at my buddy's house, playing video games and eating pizza and drinking Coke. And one of my buddies, whose house it was, looked down at his phone and was like, "Oh, I was supposed to meet an army recruiter tomorrow, but something's going on and they need to meet today. Do you guys mind if he just drops by?" And we're like, "No, it's fine. It's your house."
But
And
I appreciate the respect
yeah.
to at least ask.
yeah, and both his parents were still at work. At the time, I think he's had like 2 hours after school before either of them got home. So it was just the three of us in the house. And so like half an hour after that, the dude shows up. He's like, "All right, well, you guys just chill in here, and it probably won't take more than like 20-30 minutes." So he goes out into the living room, outside of the room that we were in, his bedroom. We hear talking, and me and my other buddy were just playing games, and he's like, "You know what? I kind of want to go talk to him." And I'm like, "What? Why?" And he's like, "You remember I talked about like joining the ROTC, and maybe I can talk to him about that?" And I'm like, "You did mention that, yeah." So he goes out there and starts talking to him, and I'm like, "Man, it's gonna take so much longer now." So I'm just in there diddling with the controller by myself, and I'm like, I'm getting really fucking thirsty, and I don't want to go out there because the recruiters are gonna talk to me. So I try to hold out as long as I can. I'm like, I really gotta piss, and I'm really fucking thirsty. Whatever. I go out. I go take a piss. The bathroom's right across the hall, so that whatever. But the kitchen is right next to where they were talking, and I'm like, just mentally preparing myself. Like, what are you gonna say if he says anything? Okay, I got my speech. Okay, we're good. Just go. And so I walked into the living room, and the second that I walked into the living room, he turned and looked at me and goes, "Hello there, young man." And I go, "I have a heart condition." And he goes, "Okay then." And then one of my buddies is like, "Oh my fucking god, what?" I don't even skip a fucking beat either. It's just, "Hello, young man, I have a heart condition."
Imagine if somehow that triggered like a PTSD moment. Like his buddy in combat was like, "I lied about having a heart condition. I have a heart condition," and splatters.
Oh,
I don't know, something like that.
yeah.
Just something super fucking funny.
And then I just
sad.
grabbed my drink from the fridge and walked back. And then when my two buddies walked back into the room when he left, they're all like, "What the fuck was that?" And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I was trying to keep calm and be natural, but obviously that didn't work.
The sad part is most recruiters are actually really chill.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Yeah.
I have this friend who is a female, and she's probably like, she comes about here to me when I'm standing.
Wow.
Like, she's just small, but fucking tough as nails. Like, I don't think I've met anyone any tougher. Like, legitimately. She wanted to join the Marines right out of high school. And she went to go talk to the recruiters, sorry. at lunch one day.
Yeah.
And she was like, I want to join the Marines. And they looked at her and laughed. And then she was,
awful.
oh, I'm not done.
Uh-huh.
And she goes, no, I'm serious. And they're like, oh. Yeah, we can't take you. She's like, why not? And one of the recruiters goes, have you measured yourself at all? Ever?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, seriously? And
Is
then
there a height limit?
It would be a requirement. And apparently...
Oh.
And then the other recruiter chimes in and goes, at least you can join the Air Force!
Hey.
Which... she did not take lightly to that.
Yeah.
Even to this day. And she is 21 now. She still gets absolutely infuriated if you mention it.
Nice. So she didn't join the military at all?
No.
Not even the Coast Guard?
No, she didn't want to join anything but the Marines.
Huh.
Because that's her mentality. Get in, get shit done, get out.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck up as much shit as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like mine. Fuck up as much shit as you can.
Okay.
So. But I still gave her shit. Because, well, it was funny seeing her get pissed off.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, at least you can still join the Air Force.
Yeah. The chair force.
Honestly, might as well.
Yeah.
Anyways, what are we doing today?
Today, Morgan, well, not today, but a couple weeks ago, Morgan said something about wanting to do cold cases. And we can definitely go through some cold cases, but I wanted to do a couple that were pretty close to us. We got one from here in town, we got one from Burley, and we got one from Pocatello that I found that I wanted to talk about. Yes.
Okay.
So,
color me intrigued, Daniel.
who the fuck is Daniel?
You.
Okay. Definitely want to make this a little bit... Whoa, that's a little bit too big.
I should probably rotate my screen, huh?
No.
So I can actually read the damn thing?
Oh, yeah. If you want to read along, you can. You don't have to. But, Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. So the first one that I got here is Baby X. I first learned about this when my mom was working at the library as a teenager, because she was going through some, because they have a big old archive of newspaper clippings, and she was sorting through that as part of her job, and she saw an article about Baby X, and she found it intriguing, and she read a bit about it and told me a bit about it, and ever since then, I have always had this mysterious thing in the back of my mind, because it's probably about as exciting of a thing that has ever happened in Rupert, Idaho.
Actually, that's not true. Because when I first moved here, okay, it was like a year in, but there was a police pursuit, like a high-speed chase.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just going all around town. Mm-hmm. And they passed by my house like 4 different times.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. That is pretty exciting, but I think this is much more exciting.
Also, Baby X, that sounds like a really shitty rapper name.
Lil Baby X, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. Apparently there was a episode of, I think it was called Unsolved, on the ID channel, which is like investigative... Discovery, yeah.
I used to watch it very frequently.
There was an episode of that show that briefly mentioned the case. It only took up like 10-15 minutes of the episode. But, yeah. Okay, we had to take a break for a second for a few reasons, but don't remember where exactly we were. But Baby X, yes, there's
It's a
actually
rapper name, yes. That's where we were.
There's actually a book somebody wrote in 2023 about small town murder mysteries, and this was one of them that was included in it. And
really?
Yeah. And it's really stupid because I tried reading about this through the Magic Valley Times, like the newspaper or whatever, online, and you need a subscription to view it now, which is fucking stupid. You can only read headlines without a subscription.
Cash money.
Yeah.
Son.
So, the burned body of a 3-week-old female infant was found near the Minidoka County landfill in Rupert, Idaho, on November 17th, 1989. The infant's body was dismembered and had been set on fire. We're still recording, thank you. Apparently, after death, dismemberment was not the cause. Some sources indicate the baby had been disemboweled before being burned. Authorities launched an investigation, including looking into possible connections to satanic rituals due to the gruesome nature of the death and the injuries and the location. Rumors of satanic activity and the sense of panic reportedly gripped the town. Despite numerous investigations, the case remains unsolved. The identities of the baby's parents remain unknown, as well as the baby itself. And authorities have been unable to determine who was responsible for the death. The case generated speculation and rumors, but the most logical explanation by authorities at the time was that the infant died of natural causes, and the mother spiraled in panic and disposed of the body. There has not been an investigation into this case by local authorities since 2008. If you have any info for the Minidoka County Sheriff's Office, call 208-434-2320.
Is that the accurate, like, up-to-date number? Okay.
Yeah. So, from the newspaper clippings that my mom found when she was cleaning up the local library, they said that the baby's body, the burnt remains, were found in a washer, like an old broken washer.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, and they tracked down the serial model and everything, and where the people bought it from, and where the company that they bought it from delivered it to. And they aren't 100% sure what specific house that this specific washer was delivered to, but the neighborhood is right here.
Seriously?
I'm serious. Specifically, a blue trailer house on this street. Not this street, but that street. And there is a blue trailer house. So there's 2 trailer houses on this road, on this part of the canal. There's one like 4 or 5 houses down, which is the house that my friend that I told you about was talking to the recruiter at first. His house that he grew up in.
Yeah.
And then there's one right before our friend C's house.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure there's one, like, right there.
And in the 80s, that trailer house was blue. So it could have been one of 2 houses.
Yeah.
But the thing is, just because that specific washer came from one of those 2 houses doesn't mean that that's where the baby came from. That just means that it could have been just a random washer out there that they decided to huck the baby's remains in.
I mean, it's a dump area, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would honestly take the time to track the washer. That seems redundant.
They thought that it might have been lead, and they questioned the people who owned the washer, and nothing came from it. So, Yeah, I actually saw not too long ago because it said in 2008 was the last investigation by local authorities. There's actually a KMVT 11, I think is the news channel out of Twin Falls, that did a story on it in 2008. And that clip can be found on YouTube.
It's just sad to me that they were never able to find out who did it.
Yeah.
Like, that baby was a person.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, they weren't sure if it was satanic ritual or not.
Yeah.
That does not sound like any satanic worship I have ever heard of.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because, one, it was in the late 80s. What year was it? 89. Yeah, late 80s. So towards the end of the whole satanic panic thing, and it had to do with a gruesome, awful dismemberment, disembowelment, setting on fire, and sadism, the devil. It kind of sort of makes sense if you put yourself in that mindset.
Yeah, but it
But
just
if something
does
like
not,
that happened today, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's definitely a satanic ritual.
Yeah, that it just does not strike me as a satanic ritual.
Probably because the main theory from the local authorities was that that the baby died of natural or mysterious causes, and the mom spiraled and probably lost her McFucking mind, and then tried to dispose of it as well as she could, I guess.
Did she or did the cops check McDonald's?
No.
Because if she lost her McFucking mind, that's where you should go to look.
There wasn't a McDonald's around here until the early 90s, so probably not.
Really?
Yeah, the one in Burley, I think that one was established in 96? Something like that.
You were alive for that.
Barely.
But you were.
Yeah. Anyway, the next one I have.
Yeah, well, the dismemberment and the disembowelment, that strikes me as pent-up rage.
Perhaps.
Maybe resentment, in a way.
Maybe.
Because if you're trying to just hide a body, you don't just do that.
Yeah.
Some people just don't have the stomach for that.
Yeah.
You have to legitimately be angry with the subject to do something like that.
Yeah, there's an above 0% chance that it could be satanic ritual, but I really don't think it is.
Yeah. Maybe someone who was supposedly trying to do satanic worshiping, but they didn't know any rituals.
I don't know.
So really, they just killed a baby.
Yeah.
For no reason.
The next one I have...
Does this mean I have to get rid of my garage full of babies?
Probably.
Fuck. Where's this dump at?
The next one I have is Cindy Bringhurst. June 4th of 1983, 14-year-old Cindy had been called to babysit for a family friend up on Highland Avenue in Pocatello. The mom had to work a night shift at the Oasis bar, and Cindy was to watch her toddler-aged daughter. That night, the mom's purse, keys, and ID were stolen from the bar. A particular man, let's call him Eric because the man's still alive and he wasn't named.
Do you mean peculiar?
Peculiar means strange. Particular means a specific someone.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
A particular man, let's call him Eric, was ID'd by someone in the bar as the guy sitting closest to her stolen items. The mom called Cindy to make sure she was okay and advised her to lock all the doors. When she got off work well past midnight and went home, Cindy was gone. Her child was unharmed. Police were called, and that the last anyone saw of Cindy, that was the last anyone saw of Cindy until a month later when her body was found in the West Fork of Mink Creek, south of Pocatello. Eric was contacted, but it was too late. Potential evidence was taken from him, but he denied knowing or doing anything. Eric had a life of crime and was in and out of jail and prison for most of his life. He moved his family out of Idaho after the crime, but eventually came back. According to someone who was interviewed about another crime from another state, he is the prime suspect of a different cold case as well. It is speculated that Cindy died trying to protect the baby. The family brought in a psychic from California for insight, but the information they provided was, quote, unhelpful to the case, the chief of police revealed after saying any information helps. The coroner at the time did not release any information on the autopsies of the body of Bringhurst, except, quote, there was definitely foul play, after saying that, quote, any release of information may impede police investigations. 208-236-7111 is the phone number for Bannock County Sheriff's Office if you have information about this case.
So that's something I never really understood. How does releasing information impede an investigation?
So actually it did, the article that I was reading did actually explain that. I just didn't think that I would need to explain it because it's a little bit obvious, but I mean, if you don't really think about it, then it's not very obvious. But it basically, there, especially around this time, around between the 60s and the 80s, there were a lot of copycat killers. So if they say, oh, she was stabbed 13 times in the side and 5 times in the stomach, and someone calls in and he's all like, oh yeah, she was stabbed 13 times in the side and 5 times in the stomach, and I know that information because I'm the killer. And they're not actually the killer.
I mean, yeah, I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah. Also to help prevent false testimonies, because people will falsely testify if they're like pressured into it by police and investigators.
Releasing information is not gonna prevent that.
It could.
Really, you're not gonna tell me that some detective who wants to make a case against someone is gonna walk into a room with some random ass civilian. It's like, here you go, and just hand them a folder of everything.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but what I'm saying is, if they release information, a cop could sit someone down. It's like, you did it. You stabbed her this many times in this area, and you did this and did that. And they're like, yeah, I did do that. And they're like, what else did you do? And if they don't release the information, that person can say, oh, I also raped her. And then the coroner's office says, well, we did a rape kit, and she wasn't raped. So obviously this guy gave false testimony.
I don't know. I just think it's retarded.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of retarded, and I guess we're on the legal side of things right now. Our friend D got a subpoena.
For what?
You remember me telling you about the wreck that happened across the street?
A long time ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are just now taking it to court.
Really?
That is our criminal justice system in a nutshell.
That was like over 6 months ago.
It was almost a year. Yeah.
Almost a year?
Yep.
I was going to say between 6 and 8 months, but 12?
Almost a year.
Jeez. Well, maybe they had trouble finding the guy.
No, because when it happened, the cop that was on scene with us was like, it sounds like they know who did it.
Oh.
And then...
Well, just because they know who it is doesn't mean they know where they are.
There was literally blood from this guy on scene.
Uh-huh.
I remember I don't know if you remember me telling you about that.
Yeah.
So they knew who this fucker was. And they had caught the guy.
And you know that for sure?
Yes. Because the cop literally told us, hey, we caught him.
Oh.
And he was high as balls.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's literally our criminal justice system at its finest.
Yeah.
I waited an entire year to be able to go to court.
They didn't subpoena you?
No.
But
when I was dealing with my shit.
thank you for cutting me off. I almost said their name. But Dee saw it happen with you?
Yes.
Okay.
I was the one that made the 911 call.
Mm-hmm.
She was over there when the guy took off.
Okay. Interesting.
Had I been there, I would have tackled the guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fat. But that's a lot of weight to carry, you know?
Yeah.
And just shrug off.
Yeah. So, this next one I did because one, it happened pretty recently, and it happened very close to here. So close that I am like 90% sure that I went to middle school with this chick. I could be wrong because I don't have any of my middle school yearbooks, but I recognize the face and I recognize the name. I'm pretty damn sure I went to school with this chick that went missing. So her name is Tiffany Amber Strelling. I don't know if it's pronounced Sterling, but it's spelled Strelling. Tiffany and her new boyfriend, James McLaws, retrieved her belongings from her father's house on May 6th, 2015, so she can move in with the McLaws. They find her ex-boyfriend and her deceased baby's father, and I put deceased baby in parentheses because the father is not deceased, it's the baby that is deceased. So they find her ex-boyfriend and her deceased baby's father, Jordan DePhillips, hiding in her closet. After a confrontation between McLaws and DePhillips at a boat dock near Bedke Boulevard, which I know exactly which street that is.
Yep.
Tiffany, who stayed at the McLaws' home, was not heard from again. So I kind of messed up typing this. I thought McLaws referred to her new boyfriend's whole family, but no, McLaws is one singular person.
Wait, seriously?
Yes, McLaws is the name. It does not refer to his family, multiple people, just one person whose name is McLaws, which is very strange.
Yeah, that's a weird first name.
Tiffany, who stayed at McLaw's home, was not heard from again. On the 17th of May, again, this is 2016, right? 2015, sorry. The McLaws reported her missing. On the 23rd, DePhillips finds her clothes at The Tree, one of her favorite hangouts in Hayburn, and I'm pretty sure I know exactly which tree that is.
Yep.
It's like in the middle of a park.
Yep.
The clothes are given to a private investigator hired by the Strellings family. A manhunt by law enforcement, family, and friends is conducted by The Tree on the 24th, but nothing was found. Police questioned DePhillips and immediate family. June 2nd, Tiffany's father and stepmother offer a $5,000 reward for info on their daughter. And it was about this time that they started putting things on their vehicles, like silly string and chalk and stuff on their vehicles, putting like, if found, call this number. I remember that very vividly. June 6th, the father and stepmother organize a search of Twin Falls, and on the 10th, they start selling merchandise saying bring Tiffany home to raise funds to organize more searches. And I do remember these very nice, intricate stickers putting on glass of vehicles around town. July 6th, James McLaws, serving probation for unrelated charges, destroys his ankle monitor and flees to Twin Falls. He hits a car, runs from police, but is later found with meth and marijuana on his person. December 16th, so we go from...
How much do you want to bet the unrelated charges that he was on probation for was drug related?
Oh, yeah. So we go from July to December. The Strellings hold a candlelight vigil in Burley for Tiffany, and I actually do remember that actually happening. May 3rd, 2016, so the next year, McLaws is sentenced in Twin to up to 15 years for possession and probation violations. It was between 7 and 15 years. November 17th, 2017, so again the next year, human remains are found in a rural area of Jerome County, which is pretty close to Twin Falls, which is close to here. November 27th, Jerome Sheriff confirms the remains found were Tiffany's, and part of the skeleton was missing, so they only found part of her body.
I think I know exactly what part of Jerome, too. Like, Jerome in general is pretty rural, so...
Yeah.
To say that it's a rural part of Jerome...
I was going to say literally half of it, which is the city, is closest to Twin, and then the back half of it is nothing but farmland and dust.
So to say that it's rural...
Yeah.
Is a pretty good indicator.
Literally half of Jerome is...
No, it's... What I'm saying is it... Like, really gives a hint to where this happened. Because, like, there's rural Jerome, and then there is rural Jerome.
Oh, okay. I understand what
like,
you're saying.
super rural, super rednecky.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say where I think it is. Have you ever been out to... It has a name, but I can't fucking remember it. The dirt.
Yeah?
So you're going towards Jerome, and you take a right, I believe, and there's like acres and acres of nothing but dirt, rocks, and mud.
No.
People used to go out there shooting and off-roading, and
I've only ever been like towards the golf course and towards the high school, because my uncle used to live next to the high school, like right behind it.
This is like right after the Perrine Bridge.
Yeah, I know exactly the turn you're talking about, but I've never been out towards that as you turn.
Yeah. But I think that's where this would have been found. Mm-hmm. Because that is like rural Jerome.
Yeah.
And Jerome County owns that land.
Yeah.
And I, for the life of me, cannot remember the name of it.
Yeah.
And it's bugging me.
As of 2024, the rest of the body has not been found, and no one has been charged with the murder. Call 208-878-2251 if you have any information for the Cassia County Sheriff's Office. And I assume you could probably call Jerome County Sheriff if you find anything, too. If you know anything or find anything.
Yeah, but it would probably be better in my...
Since the case started in Cassia.
Yeah. The lead investigator would be based in Cassia.
Yeah.
The lead department would be Cassia.
Yeah, but I'm sure Jerome has some records and files too.
Yeah, but if you really want your information to be taken...
Yeah.
And something done with it, Cassia is your friend.
Yeah, but I specifically chose that one because it is very close to home. Like, I know most of these locations that are in this story. And like I said, I'm like 90% sure that I went to middle school with this chick. So...
I'm still trying to remember the name of that place.
Yeah.
It is bugging me.
I guess I could look up some more, because I thought that would be enough. Boop, boop, boo. No. Oh, here we go. There's actually...
I'm pretty sure there was one that happened at Durkee's years ago.
Yeah.
But I could be misremembering that.
Well, there is a Very good resource for stuff like this. It's called uncovered.com. You can go through like specific states or counties and look at their cold cases.
Really?
Yeah.
That's actually really fucking cool.
But most of them are like, oh, we have very little information on this case, but this is what we have. Like this guy, his name is Stephen Persall. Last update was April 27th, 2024. He was from Lewiston, Idaho. It says Persall was last seen in the Lewiston Civic Theater in Lewiston, Idaho. He was employed as a janitor there and asked his friends to drop him off so he could do some laundry and practice his clarinet. He has never been heard from again. He left his clarinet behind at the theater, which is uncharacteristic of him. He also left his car parked at a friend's house and an uncashed paycheck at his apartment. He went missing on September 12th, 1982, and they declared him dead on September 13th, so the very next day, which is very strange. His birthday was March 8th, 1947, so he would be quite aged. Current age says about 78. He was 35 at the day of the accident. He's white, male, 5'11", 160 pounds, and he has brown hair.
So
that's all that is known about the case.
They literally just assumed he's dead.
Yeah.
And then they called it an accident.
Probably, yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Like, there's no police files or anything, but that's probably what happened, yeah.
Was a body ever found?
That is literally all the information that we have.
Great.
Yeah.
Wait, then who said he was dead?
The police.
But
assumedly.
Oh my god.
What I read is all the information that they have.
I know. It's not enough.
I know it's not. Louis Neguluart. He was last seen in Gooding County, Idaho in 1986. It says on January 12th, 1986. Lewis's 48th birthday, he was last seen picking up his paycheck at First Security Bank in Gooding County. 4 days later, however, his bank account was overdrawn by $56. 6 days after Lewis was last seen on January 20th, 1986, his car was impounded by Nevada Highway Patrol because it was found abandoned on Highway 93, approximately 15 miles north of Las Vegas. According to reports, one of the windows had been punched out and the keys were left inside along with Lewis's personal belongings. Lewis's case remains unsolved. His case has been officially labeled a cold case due to him not being seen or heard from for more than 36 years. Authorities believe he may have been taken against his will. Yeah, no shit. Authorities want to use DNA technology in Lewis's case, but they have been unable to locate any of his relatives in Spain. At the time of his disappearance in 1986, Lewis was described as a 48-year-old Caucasian male with brown hair and brown eyes. He was 6'1" and weighed approximately 200 pounds. He is of Basque and Spanish descent. If you have any information regarding Lewis's disappearance or his whereabouts, please contact the Gooding County Sheriff's Office at 208-934-4421.
Okay, hold on. You said he was 6'1" and
200 pounds.
That is not an easy target to kidnap.
No.
Like, that is a big boy.
That's a big ass boy.
There's a lot to unpack there. Holy shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack with so little information.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds like someone got into debt in Vegas and just disappeared and tell you. How did they know that the window was punched out, though? That's what I want to know.
Probably because if it was punched out, that probably means that they found glass on the outside of the car and not inside, or the majority of it on the outside. Or on the, I don't know, whichever way that indicates. It sounds like it was punched from the inside out, but it could have been from the outside in. I don't know.
But have you ever tried punching glass? Like,
No.
Car window glass?
No.
It
Also,
is-
remember, this is in the 80s.
I know. It is not easy. Like, I tried breaking a window one time for legal reasons.
Mm-hmm.
A friend got locked out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, can I smash it?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, go for it. I was like, I was way too excited. But it's not as easy as you would think. So in the movies, they always go for the middle of the window.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that?
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to go towards the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where it's weaker, apparently. Which is, I don't understand the logic of that, but okay.
Yeah.
But it took me probably 10 whacks with a hammer
Oh.
to just get through the window. And it's actually the hammer that
Question.
answer.
If it was a house window, it was probably tempered. And
No, it was a car window.
it was a car window.
Yes.
Was it the front or back, or was it the sides?
The side passenger.
Okay, then never mind. Because I was going to say, usually those are not tempered.
So
And tempering them makes it more difficult. More durable, I guess.
so someone really wanted to get in this car for some reason.
Yeah. My question is, if it was Las Vegas and he was found outside of Las Vegas, and specifically they give a map, and the little pin on the map it says it's like just north of Las Vegas, I wonder if he didn't go gambling, lost a lot of money, and then won a lot of money all of a sudden, and then left to go home. And if somebody didn't stop him on the side of the road and thought that he cheated the casino or something, and then killed him on his way home.
Or they just wanted the money.
Or that.
Well, you would think that they would go and question the places
Yeah.
if that were the case.
Yeah.
So I don't think the actual abduction, assuming, happened on the side of the road outside of Vegas. I think that
They
was
probably
just
just planted it there.
the dump point was
Yeah.
there. I think maybe it actually happened in Vegas,
Probably, yeah.
especially during what, the 80s.
Yeah. It was 89?
I'm pretty
86.
I'm pretty sure the mob was still in control of a lot of it
Yeah.
in the 80s. I'm not sure on that. My knowledge of Vegas history is next to none. But I am pretty sure that the mob was in control of a lot of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, some of these are really super bare bones. Like literally, this one says Gayla Shaper. Gayla was last seen on 6/29/79 in Moscow, Idaho. She has no ID with her. And then it says she was 28 when it happened. She should be 68 now. Her weight was 135. She was female, white, and had strawberry blonde hair. And that's all that it says.
Grandma? Have you been missing? You have another family?
And this one literally just has a picture. Says his name is Gordon White. He's from Orofino, Idaho. Orfino, Idaho. Date missing is the 10th of June in 2020, and he was 78 at the time. Literally no other information.
I mean, he probably died.
Probably.
But, like, where's the body?
Yeah, we can do a couple more.
Yay!
This one is Fern Baird.
That's a weird name. Fern.
Yeah.
I like it, though.
Fern went missing while hiking alone near the Prairie Creek trailhead outside of Ketchum, Idaho. Hotel staff notified the local police when she missed her checkout date. Police found her car near the trailhead, and she had signed the logbook, quote, "to the lake and back." This happened October 19th, 2020. She was 63 when she went missing. She's white female. She was 5'5", 115 pounds, and her hair is brown.
It's probably not brown anymore.
Probably not.
It's probably red. With blood.
Yeah.
But also, what was a 68-year-old doing hiking alone? Maybe she wasn't hiking alone.
Well, the hotel staff would have known that if she was with somebody.
Not necessarily. She could have met someone there.
Oh, maybe.
You know, like, "Hi, grandsonny, I'm going to go hiking. You want to come?"
Grandson?
Yeah, maybe grandma had a very large inheritance to give him. Money is a very powerful
yeah, but
motivator.
why? She obviously was from out of town if she was at a hotel.
Yeah.
And if it was family, they would have came with her, no?
I live here in Rupert. My family lives in Boise.
Uh-huh.
We meet in Boise.
Uh-huh.
So the same could be said, like, what if the grandson is living in Ketchum?
Oh.
And she's from out of town.
Okay.
And
that makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah. So, check out the inheritance collectors.
Sure.
Ketchum PD SD. Ketchum's pretty small. I don't think they...
I know nothing about Ketchum.
I don't think they would have a police department. So,
Rupert's fucking small and we have a police department.
Yeah, but I think Ketchum is smaller.
Than Rupert?
Yeah.
I was gonna say the only place that I know of around... period. That's smaller than Rupert is fucking Dietrich. And they only have like 200 people there. Dietrich's just outside of Shoshone.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about Ketchum, but I'm pretty sure that they're smaller than Rupert.
I know this is going outside of the realm of cold cases, but do you want to know something really interesting, actually?
What?
So...
No one cares. Just kidding.
You're gonna care. I think I've mentioned it before.
I have been assaulted into caring. Okay. What the fuck?
I know that the biggest nuclear disaster in America was like nuclear reactor disaster was 3 Mile Island, I think, in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't it on an island?
Yeah. And then the number one worst nuclear disaster not involving a reactor was somewhere in like New Mexico on an Indian reservation. The Navajo Nation, I think, is what it was.
The Navajo?
Sure. But I think it's like ranked number 2 or 3 worst nuclear disaster in America, at least, was actually in Shoshone. Did you know that?
Yeah, we have a place here in Idaho that no one really knows what happens there. It's basically Area 51 of Idaho.
Sort of, yeah. You're not allowed to get out of your car. if you're driving through it. It's just an area of dirt and sage and brush, and there's not a whole lot of reason why you would get out of your car anyway.
No, there is a place out there called The Site.
The Site?
That is literally what people call it. The Site. And it is literally basically the Area 51 of Idaho. Like, they have a full-on militaristic security team.
Interesting.
With fucking armored vehicles and shit.
Yeah.
One time I even saw fucking an FBI truck out there.
Huh.
Which was fucking crazy.
The only reason why I know about this is because it was between 8th grade and 9th grade, so the transition period between middle school and high school. I had to attend summer school, or else I would go back to the 8th grade. And one of my teachers there had family who actually got out of their car, and they had to be scrubbed down by people in hazmats. I don't remember if it was them specifically or their car, or I think it was them specifically. But yeah, our internet daddy, Wendigoon, has a wonderful video on this subject, and I think maybe not next time, but soon, we should watch that and react to it.
I'm interested to see if he mentions the site.
I think he does.
Because
if I remember correctly.
Because
it's been a while.
Not a lot of people know about the site.
Uh-huh.
Even those that live in Idaho.
Yeah.
Barely anyone knows about it.
Yeah.
And nobody really knows what goes on there. Like, I do know that it is a nuclear plant, but there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
First of all, it's in the middle of buttfuck nowhere.
Yeah.
Which, nuclear plant, I can understand that.
I mean, it's Idaho. A lot of Idaho is buttfuck nowhere.
But also, like, just the severe, like, they have a full, like, small army of guys with rifles and tactical gear, and it's even been rumored that they've had Navy SEALs there at one point.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know what was that, you telling me to shut up, or
no? That's me telling you it's fucking hot. Let's wrap it up.
So telling me to shut up.
No, just wrap it up.
Lost my train of thought. Thanks a lot.
Guys in military outfits, tactical gear, rifles.
Yeah, like there's something more than just
a nuclear plant.
Yeah.
Maybe
like,
that's the real Area 51.
Yeah, Area 51.11.
Sure.
2.
Area 52.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's happening out there? Huh? Actually, that would be a good episode. The site?
I'll look into it.
Because I know someone whose dad worked at the site at one point.
Oh.
And they kept him under 24/7 surveillance.
Oh.
Because he was like a higher ranking nuclear physicist, I think.
Uh-huh.
Nuclear something.
Yeah.
And he could have been kidnapped by like a terrorist organization.
Oh.
And then they would have tortured him into giving information and then killed him. So the government had him tailed 24/7.
I see.
And you wouldn't know. Those people are out there.
Mm-hmm.
Out and about, even today.
Mm-hmm.
So, if anything, the site is more active than ever. Anyways.
It's fucking hot! Go check out the links in the description. Go check out all of the
things.
Playlists on the channel.
Tech Talk, Nick Plays, Morgan Plays, podcast. Is that it?
Yes. I haven't done anything with lizards in a while.
Lizards,
in like
taboo,
4 weeks.
taboo couch potatoes.
You are sweating like a fucking pig. I'm on the verge of sweating. Remember, pray for peace. Pray that Donald Trump mysteriously
pulls things through. And you know,
pray that he doesn't get Abraham Lincolned.
And you know what's bad when I'm asking people to pray, but
Yeah.
please fucking pray for us.
Hopefully next time we come to you, it will not be from a fallout shelter.
We don't
Okay.
have one.
Bye. Actually, we have one like maybe a mile down the road from our grandparents' place, and they only live like maybe a mile that way.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Really quick story, super duper quick. One night, me and my friends wanted to bullshit and smoke drugs, do the marijuanas, and we were going to do it. But one of my friends was like, "Hey, you want to see something spooky?" And we went to a fallout shelter that was literally a mile past my grandparents' place. And it was very dark, so we couldn't see anything. And there was like shit scattered all over the place, broken piano, broken vases. There was even a wedding dress hung up, pinned to one of the support beams, and there was "Get the fuck out" written in a red substance. We couldn't tell, and I noped the fuck out of there. All right, thanks, guys. Bye. It was pointing it right in my head. It was like, "Drive, motherfucker." Hello, Morgan. How are you?
I have AIDS in my tomatoes.
I found that is not a good thing. Where to? Oh, there's the thing.
I got abused!
Yeah.
It's gonna have more
Let's-
cuts than the emo kid in school.
How long have you been black? As I turn off the key and open the door, all I hear is, "Stay in the car!" And I'm like, "I fucking hate you! Oh my god!" Oh. Very cool.
Hey, that was a boom. That was a boomstick. Grandma's gonna be mad at you.
Fucking what?
And then got 2 scoops of ice cream.